Before we begin, if you're over 60 or approaching your later years, and you want to live with peace, clarity, and true independence, take a moment to subscribe and turn on the bell icon, because what you're about to hear today might completely change how you see friendships and your life moving forward. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that as you get older, your priorities begin to shift? Things that once felt important suddenly don't feel the same anymore. Large social circles, constant conversations, trying to stay connected with everyone. It all starts to feel a little unnecessary and maybe even a little exhausting. But here's the truth most people don't talk about. After a certain age, you don't need as many friends as you once thought. Now, that might sound surprising, even uncomfortable, because we've been taught our whole lives that having more friends means a better life. But what if that's not true anymore? What if this stage of life is not about adding more people, but about understanding yourself? Let's start with the first realization. You no longer need to prove yourself. Think back to your younger years. How much of your social life was built around fitting in, impressing others, being accepted, keeping up appearances? Whether it was work, social gatherings, or community circles, there was always a subtle pressure to be liked, to be seen, to belong. But now, you've lived enough life to understand something powerful. Your worth is not defined by others. You don't need approval anymore. You don't need validation. And once you truly realize that, something changes. You stop chasing connections that don't feel real. You stop forcing conversations that don't feel meaningful. And suddenly, you feel lighter. Now let's talk about something even more valuable. Peace. Because as you get older, peace becomes more important than socializing. In your younger years, noise felt exciting. Being around people felt necessary. But now, quiet feels different. Not empty, but calming, restful, meaningful. And here's what many people don't realize. Even good friendships come with expectations. Phone calls to return, messages to reply to, plans to keep. And over time, that can feel draining. Not because people are bad, but because your energy is different. Your priorities are different. You don't want constant noise anymore. You want calm. And when you choose peace over pressure, you start to feel something rare. Freedom. Now let's go deeper, because this next one hits hard. Fewer friendships mean fewer disappointments. If you've lived long enough, you've seen it. People come and go. Some stay for a while, then disappear. Some only show up when it's convenient. Some relationships turn out to be one-sided, and that hurts. But here's the shift. When you stop trying to maintain every connection, you stop setting yourself up for disappointment. You don't expect as much. You don't chase as much. And because of that, you feel more at peace. Because the truth is, not everyone is meant to stay. And that's okay. Now pause for a moment. Think about your own life. Are there friendships you're holding on to out of habit, not happiness? Are there conversations that feel like effort instead of joy? Because recognizing that is the first step towards something better. Let's continue, because now we're going to talk about the most powerful shifts of all, the ones that completely change how you experience life. Let's start with something you begin to understand deeply with age. Your time becomes more valuable than ever. When you're younger, time feels endless. You say yes to everything. You spend hours in conversations. You keep up with people, even when you don't want to, because it feels like there's always more time. But as you get older, something shifts. You begin to realize time is limited, and every hour matters. So naturally, you become more selective. You start asking yourself, is this really how I want to spend my time? And that question changes everything, because many friendships are not built on joy. They're built on habit, routine calls, obligated meetups, endless small talk. And when you see that clearly, you stop giving your time away so easily. You begin to protect it, because your time is your life. Now let's talk about something even more powerful. True companionship comes from within. This is something most people never fully understand. We're taught from a young age that happiness comes from being around others, from having people in your life. And yes, connection matters. But there's a deeper truth. If you're not comfortable with yourself, no amount of people will fix that. But when you learn to enjoy your own company, everything changes. You don't feel the need to constantly call someone. You don't feel uncomfortable being alone. You don't need distractions. Because you've become your own companion. You can sit in silence and feel at peace. You can take a walk and enjoy your own thoughts. You can spend a day alone and still feel fulfilled. And that is real freedom. Now imagine this. You wake up and your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. No expectations, no pressure, no need for constant interaction, just peace. That's what happens when you build a relationship with yourself. Now let's bring it all together, because this final shift is the most important one. Letting go. Letting go of the pressure to maintain every friendship. Letting go of expectations. Letting go of what you think life should look like. Because the truth is, you don't need a crowded life to have a meaningful one. Sometimes, a simpler life is a better life. More space, more calm, more clarity. And when you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for what truly matters. Maybe that's a few meaningful relationships. Maybe it's your hobbies. Maybe it's your own peace. But whatever it is, it's yours. Now take a moment and ask yourself, am I holding on to connections that no longer bring me joy? Am I spending my time in ways that truly matter to me? Because the answers to those questions can change your life. And here's the most important thing to remember. This is not about isolation. This is not about pushing people away. This is about choosing quality over quantity, choosing peace over pressure, choosing yourself without guilt. Because after everything you've lived through, everything you've experienced, you've earned that right. The right to live life on your terms. The right to choose how you spend your time. The right to protect your peace. And when you do that, you don't lose anything. You gain everything that truly matters. Thanks for watching.